What's up? What's up? What's up? Give me a second, y'all. Just gotta make sure everything is getting audio because last week when I went recording, to start off everything, listen, TikTok didn't have no audio until I went to start playing the game. So I gotta make sure everything got audio going and we good and we got everything going together. But what's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Drop Balls Podcast, your favorite podcast, is favorite sports podcast. Listen, man, we got a lot to talk about today. Um, college basketball just ended. We got the men's national championship last night. The women's national championship was on Sunday. My fault. Was on Sunday. Um, and they were uh, the men's championship game was a good game. The women's game, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. All right. So TikTok is good. The volume sounds good. But listen, if y'all watching on TikTok, go ahead and hit that follow button. If you're watching on Twitch, again, hit that follow button. We're trying to get this up to 50 followers on Twitch. If you on Kick, you all know what to do. Listen, I shouldn't have to go through every app. Just hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button for your boy. And let's get this thing rocking. Let's get this thing cracking. Uh, Hold on, making sure YouTube is right as well. Like I said, I gotta go and just make sure everything is good to go because I don't want nothing. I don't want to go back after the fact and then everything be all messed up. So I gotta make sure everything's sounding good, everything going good, and we're gonna get it cracking. But we also gonna talk about some NFL today too. It's not a lot going on in the NFL right now, but what I did do was I made a top 10 list of wide receivers, and I'm gonna keep doing that. I'm gonna do that. But we got the draft in a couple of weeks, so I'm gonna keep doing that as far as like my top 10 list. Now look, the top 10 lists are hard. And some people might have got left off the list. Some people might have got put on a list that you may not agree with. Some people in honorable mentions, and it's not because they aren't good. They're in honorable mentions because either they're number two receiver, where they're number one, maybe top 10, or maybe they just outside. One of those fringe receivers that's just on the outside looking in. And there's some players on this list that are also like towards the end of their prime, and so they'll be aging off the list here soon. But this is just my top 10 list going into the my top 10 list in the receivers based off your career, based off where you are in your prime, and based off what they did last season. I asked some people for their opinions. So we're gonna see how y'all feel about the list when we get there, and then we'll talk about it. If y'all in the comments, we'll talk about it. People that's in the comments, that's watching, let me know how y'all feel about the list. Don't just sit there silent. Let me know how y'all feel about the list. And like I said, we can talk about it. We can have a discussion. Um, but let's get to it, man. We're gonna get this cracking. Y'all know the deal with all of this. See, look at that. It's already starting off where, look at that. It's already starting off crazy. But let's do it again. Let me see where we at. I swear this thing get annoying every time. See it X's out. Oh man, I wish there was a better way. Wish there was a better way. But we gonna get through it. Here we go. Let's try this again. Boom. We there. Like I said, I just wish it was a more consistent way, but it is what it is. Hey, and we talking some NBA today. Like I told y'all, I don't really like basketball, but we're gonna talk some NBA today. We're gonna talk some NBA today. So listen, man. Let's get started. Let's talk about hey, Big Paige Beuckers. Big Paige. y'all see her, man. She won a national championship. Another UConn great to win a national championship at UConn under Geno. Hey, Geno, look, Geno that guy. And he got a right to talk all the stuff he want to talk. Geno got 12 rings.
Lewis has recently faced
Hold on,
some
let me turn
tough
this down a little
challenges,
bit.
but remains a vital part of this team.
But yeah, Geno got, look, man, Geno got all the right to talk. That man got 12 rings. You got players that got multiple rings. I honestly think Paige is the only one that has one ring. When you look at Maya Moore, you look at Diane Taurasi, you look at Sue Bird, you look at Stewie, who got 4 of them things. I think Paige is the only one that got one ring. But again, that cements her legacy at UConn. And like I was saying, Geno is one of those guys where he got over 1,200 wins, and I think he only got 100 and something losses. Let me turn this a little up. Turn this back up a little bit. You know, I'm gonna take this out my ear because that's getting on my nerves.
One gone and a runner on at first. Now it's the shortstop, Chris Lewis. Not getting the
but yeah, Geno got like, I want to say it was like 1,285 wins and like 880 losses or something like that. He ain't even at 200 losses. I'm swinging at BS already. I'm gonna bring it up because Geno, listen, man, Geno like that. And not only did UConn win, they won in dominant fashion, bro. Like, how you spell it? Oh, there we go. They won in dominant fashion. But yeah, okay, so he got 1,250 wins and 165 losses. He has almost as many tournament wins as he has losses in the regular season. He has 143 tournament wins and 165 losses overall, I guess. 165 losses overall. But 143 tournament wins and 24 tournament losses, 12 national championships, and he's been in the Final Four 24 times, which, I mean, hey, Geno one of them. But like I said, they not only won this game against South Carolina, they won in dominant fashion. What was the score? What was the score of this game? Because they beat the hell out of them women, out of them girls. National championship, 82-59. They beat them almost by 30 points. And it was wire to wire. Like, there wasn't any point in time where you thought, all right, I mean, besides maybe the tip off, but there wasn't no time you really thought, like, all right, SC gonna make a run and they're gonna come back. Foot on neck. And Sarah Strong, she the next one up at UConn. And she balled out. She showed up. She was like 10 for 12, 24 points or something like that. Fudd had 24 points. Damn. Fudd had 24 points. And then you had Paige had like 17. It was they ran them wire to wire. Big Paige. So like I said, she solidified herself as a UConn great. There really hasn't been any UConn greats that went there and they didn't win a ring. All of them have rings. Every single last one of them got rings. And so I mean, I can't really like, that's pretty much all I got about that game. Like, because they did so well. Like, it wasn't really much to talk about. Like I said, they led the game wire to wire. This just cements. I mean, we already knew Geno is a Hall of Fame coach. He's going into the Hall of Fame, you know, as soon as his career is over. And like, there's no doubt about that. So we already knew that was happening. Like, he solidified. He has more wins than Coach K. And has he been, like, I think Coach K had been coaching for like 47 years or something like that. I don't think Geno has coached that long. Let me see. Most wins. College basketball coach. There we go. I don't think Coach K was coaching. I don't think Geno has been coaching as long as Coach K. I could be wrong because Geno been there for a while, so I could be wrong. Yeah. So Coach K got 47 years, 1,202 wins, 368 losses. He has a 766 win percentage, or a 76% win percentage. So when you look at women's, you know, I'm trying to multitask. Boom, smack that. Nope, never mind. He ain't did nothing. It's trash. Geno, 40 years. He been a head coach for 40 years at UConn since 1985. 1985, dog. 1,250 wins, 165 losses, at 88.3% win percentage. Hey, hey man, Geno was really like that, dog. Let me try out this camera angle. It's kind of crazy. I might try that out for defense. That first person, you know, it's kind of crazy. But yeah, Geno one of them ones for sure. Now let's go over here to this men's national championship, man. Look, all right. So Houston came back against Duke, right? 15-point deficit, came back and won it against Duke. Duke choked down the stretch. We all saw that. Then they played the Florida Gators yesterday, where they led pretty much most of the game. Dang, we getting rocked like the Yankees right now, 5-1. But yeah, they led pretty much, you know, the whole game. Oh, that was a ball. That's crazy. And then I don't know what it was in the second half, because what men's basketball is 2 halves at 24 minutes, I believe, right? The last 10 minutes of the game.
Digging in, the catcher.
Now neither team's offense was really good. Like neither team offense was playing good.
Just 1 strike away.
Hold on, I gotta log back into this thing. But neither team's offense was really playing well. So like I can't really say like, oh, they got outplayed on the offensive side of the ball. No, because neither team's offense was really doing anything. Like they both were playing pretty bad. Now Florida's offense came alive, you know, later in the game, like towards the end, especially what's his name, Clayton. You know, he turned up a little bit, but he turned up a little bit towards the end of the game. You know, he was driving to the basket, getting fouled. But my thing is, bro, like I'm trying to think how to word this. I'm trying to think how to word this to where last 10 minutes of the game, Houston was playing not to lose the game. They weren't playing to win. They were playing not to lose. On offense, they were hold on, I'm trying to pull up my TikTok joint so I can look at my my analytics and stuff. But they were playing not to lose the game. So with 10 minutes left, what they did, they held on to the ball on offense, tried to waste as much time as they could. And I felt like they were doing that way too early. They did that way too early in the game. But yeah, 10 minutes left. Oh, we're gonna play not to lose the game. We're gonna try not to lose this game. We're gonna try to we're gonna try not to lose this game. We're gonna burn time on the clock. But and that's my thing is that's well and fine if you're making baskets. If you're making baskets, then it's all well and fine to try to hold on to the ball and run some clock, because you know you're getting up good shots. You're making baskets, but they weren't doing any of that. They were holding on to the ball, pretty much playing a bunch of isolation ball. It wasn't like they were doing anything to, like, running any kind of offense. They would hold on to the ball, and then they would just take a tough shot. And that's not the way to do it. That's not the way to do it at all. You can't just go in there and if you're gonna hold on to the ball, you can't just go take tough shots. You can't do that. You gotta go in there. You gotta be able to get some good shots up. You gotta run some offense. I can't get a hit to save my life. You gotta run some offense. You gotta do something. You can't just take tough shots. It's not gonna work that way. You're not gonna be able to do anything. Oh. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to do anything. They gotta figure that out. They gotta figure that out because, or I mean, it's too late now. They already lost the game. And on top of that, so like, they had Florida was in the double bonus. So with Florida being in the double bonus, you know, anytime they foul, oh, where we going? Where we going? Where we going? Get up out of here. Oh no, we going to. Okay, bet. But with Florida being in a double bonus, that's one of the biggest issues, bro. Like, all you did was you fouled Florida. You fouled Florida. You got them into double bonus. You took bad shots, and then on the other end, you was fouling. You was still fouling. You was still fouling, and that way they was able to get. You know, they got to the line. They got some buckets. They fought their way back into the game. And like I said, you weren't doing anything on the offensive side of the ball besides trying to take threes. What's his name? What's the old boy name? I'm not running on that. What's his name? Is it the tip of my tongue? What's the boy name? The one who got the last, who tried to get the last shot, and instead of actually shooting the ball, I appreciate that though, Sleep. But instead of actually like shooting the ball, what he did was he dropped, he jumped up, dropped the ball, and then he started backing it up like he heard Juvie say Cash Money taking over for the 99 and 2000s. Like, and I get it, bro. Like, I get it. You know, dropping the ball like that, you're gonna get called for double dribble or traveling, whatever. You could have kicked the ball, tapped the ball out of bounds. You could have did something. You could have did anything to save some time on the clock, because the last possession you down 2, and we was me and my my Sports After Dark crew. We was in playback. We were watching the game together in playback. You know, chatting with the community and everything. And I even said it. 19 seconds left. I said they about to drop some dumbass play, just so they can get off some stupid 3 when all they need to do is tie up the game, or at least get downhill to the basket and maybe draw a foul. And lo and behold, they drew up something dumb. They drew up something dumb to take a 3 that they ended up not getting off. They didn't even get the 3 ball off. And they didn't even get the 3 ball off. And I just knew that's what they were going to do. When really, like I said, all you had to do was drop a play to get somebody going downhill. Either you make the layup, and you tie the game up. You make the layup and it's an and 1, and then you take the lead with a few seconds left, or you don't make the layup, but you get fouled and you make the 2 free throws. Which college basketball, they're not really good free throw shooters. That's part of my issue with college basketball. Is really, that's my issue with just basketball in general. But for sure, the free throws, like, they're not necessarily good free throw shooters. Like, Houston shot 9 for 14 last night from the free throw. 64%. You're not winning anything shooting 64% from the charity stripe at all. Florida shot 17 for 21. While it's still not great, it's a good percentage. 81%. It's still a good percentage, especially when you're in a double bonus. That, like I said, that helped them a lot. But yeah, so I shouldn't have swung that. What's his name? Emmanuel Sharp. That's the old boy name. He was 3 for 11 from the field, 1 for 7 from 3. And he took a lot of, apparently that's his shot. That's what he does, right? He takes bad threes. But boy took a lot of terrible 3-point shots, dog. A lot of bad ones. And I'm just like, bro, you can't take those. Or you shouldn't be taking them. Actually, you can. You shouldn't be taking those shots. And every time I saw him touch the ball, he wanted to shoot a 3. Some he didn't take, some he did take. Until the last one. The one where you had enough room to pump fake, and Clayton would have flew right past you. And then reset, boom, knock down, or take the 3. And I would have, granted, I don't think they should have took a 3 at that point, but I would have appreciated that a lot more than what he actually did. Had he done that, I'd be like, all right, cool. Had he done that, I'd have been like, all right, cool, good shot. You got a good look. You took the shot. Wouldn't have been mad at it, whether it fell or whether, like, that's something you can live with. But what he did, and look, I know fans are gonna be hard on him, and rightfully so. People gonna get the jokes off, rightfully so. But at the same time, as an athlete, as a former athlete, I know that's tough on him. I know that's tough on him. Wow, he was safe on that. But I know that's tough on him because, look, man, like any athlete, when you have that chance and you screw up in the crunch time, that's tough. That's gonna weigh on him the rest of his career. You know, if he goes to the league or whatnot, that's something that's gonna weigh on him the rest of his career. Even if he don't, especially if he don't go to the league, to where like he's in a spot to where he can not necessarily remedy or get another chance, because you'll never get he won't get another chance to win a national championship. Oh, he's a junior here, so maybe he'll go back next year, whatever. But you know, I mean, shoot, maybe he has another chance to win a national championship. Maybe next year they make another run. But
that was nowhere close. I can't believe
I don't know. He won't get that situation back again. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. Like, he won't necessarily get that situation back again to where he could right his wrong. Or there's a possibility. Yeah, he won't be able to right his wrong. Because even if they do, let's say they do go on a run and they win it next year, right? You could have been a 2-time champ. You could have been back-to-back. That's if he returns back to college and doesn't go to the league or anything. But like, you could have, or you know, just decides to finish up college and that's it, you know. But you could have been a 2-time champ. But I mean, and granted, look, Florida and Houston, they both didn't shoot well from the 3. I think I think Houston shot 24%, Florida shot 25%. Florida was like 6 for 25 or 6 for 24, and Houston was 6 for 25. So neither one of them shot good from 3, right? Or okay, Florida was 20 or 25% from 3, and Houston was 24% from 3. So yeah, neither one of them shot good from 3. But when you look at this, when you look at the shooting chart, or you look at the statistics, Florida didn't have a player that took over 7 threes. They realized something wasn't working, so they started getting downhill, getting into the paint. Can we get the one? Can we get the one? Nah, we didn't get. But so they realized something wasn't working. They started getting downhill, getting to the paint, and like I said, they got them into the double bonus. Houston, on the other hand, they just continue to jack up threes. Pryor was 4 for 11. Sharp was 1 for 7. Milos was 0 for 4. And while the players from the bench shot a little bit better, Terrence was 0 for 1 and Malik was 1 for 2. So they shot a little bit better than Cryer and Sharp, but and Milos, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough at all. And you know, maybe, and they took more shots than Florida, so I'll give them that. They took a lot more shots than Florida. They had 69 field goal attempts to Florida's 53. And Florida shot better from the field than they did. But like I said, it's just they played not to lose that game at the end, and it just didn't work out for them. Rather than playing to win, they played not to lose. They tried to run too much time off the clock, and I get it. You don't want to give Florida the extra possessions, especially when they have a player like Clayton on the other side. And while Clayton didn't necessarily have a good game, he turned it on late in the game. And he helped lead Florida to that victory. And the other thing is, they didn't out-rebound Florida, but they out-rebounded Florida on the offensive boards. Houston had 15 offensive boards to Florida's 8. So they were able to turn missed shots into extra possessions. But then also on those extra possessions, what kind of shots are you getting up? What kind of shots are you taking? Are they quality shots, or are they just some more bad shots? And if there's some more bad shots, then like, what's the point? You know what I mean? If you getting more bad shots up, then what's the point?
as he was in this one.
So I just feel like Houston shot themselves in the foot. A lot of people gonna look at, oh, well, the refs did this, the refs didn't do that, whatever. To me, it was on Houston. Houston shot themselves in the foot. They should have played a lot better than they did, especially down the stretch. And I think it was the last three. Like, they had like a few turnovers in the first. How many turnovers did they have all game? They had 9 turnovers. They had like 3 or 4 turnovers in like the first half of the game. In the last 3 minutes of the game, they had like 5 turnovers. So, like, that's what I mean. Like, you shot yourself in the foot. You can blame the refs, you can blame whoever, but at the end of the day, you didn't do anything to help yourself. You didn't do anything to help yourself as a team. Bad shots, running clock to try to limit Florida's possessions, and then taking bad shots on top of that, and then fouling on the other end, where you fouling, you stopping the clock. So what's the point of you running the clock and stopping Florida from getting extra possessions when you stopping the clock because you keep fouling on the other end of the court? So the game plan just didn't work, and then like I said, the last play, it just wasn't. It wasn't the play. Like, it wasn't the play to do. You running around trying to get a 3, trying to get people open. Everybody just standing around watching the guards run around. It wasn't the way to go. It wasn't the way to go as a team at all. Automatic double, baby. So they have to straighten up there. They had to straighten up there, and they didn't. What's up, everybody that's watching? Appreciate y'all tapping in with me. We just talking, college basketball. Well, really, we done with that. We about to move on to the NBA. But talking college basketball, playing MLB The Show, road to the show. Just finished talking about Houston and Florida. It was a good game up until the end when they shot themselves in the foot. Like, it really was a solid game up until the end of the game. I can say that for sure. It was a solid game up until the end of the game. And I'm not saying that because Houston was winning, because I picked Florida to win the game anyway. So I'm not mad at Florida winning the game, but I picked Florida to win it all. When I did my bracket, I had Florida winning the whole thing. So, well, I had Florida on one of my brackets. I had Florida winning the whole thing. I did 2 brackets. I had Florida winning it all. I had Alabama winning it all. Alabama, they didn't make it out of Elite 8. So, but yeah, I had those two. I had those 2 brackets, and those 2 teams winning on each bracket. But I wasn't mad that Florida won. I was just mad at how it ended, because while the outcome was what I wanted, I wanted to see Houston get up that last shot. That was a bad hit. I wanted to see Houston get up that last shot because I wanted to see, like, at that point you playing the odds. What's gonna happen? But they just couldn't get up the last shot. So, and we all saw what happened. Everybody that watched saw what happened. But anyway, we're going to the NBA, man. Hey, the Nuggets fired Mike Malone. And it's perfect timing, right? It's perfect timing because before today, I wasn't going to talk about that. Throw the ball, boy. All right. All right. I'm here pushing circle to get the first base, and he won't throw the ball. Cool. Got it. But yeah, it's perfect timing because I wasn't going to talk about the Denver Nuggets, firing their head coach and nothing like that. And I saw that this morning before I was even ready to, to hop on stream and start talking. But yeah, they fired Mike Malone, and I really don't understand that. Like, you're 4th in the West. While granted, you may not have finished the season the way you wanted to. Damn, bull. But you're 4th in the West, 47 and 55 or 47 and 32. I don't know why I was about to say 47 and 55. That's even more than games they play. But the 47 and 32, they played 79 games. Let me see. What's the last 2 games? Okay, so the last 2 games. Oh, actually, damn. Maybe that's the reason why. Because you lost 4 of the last 5 games. You beat Utah, lost to Minnesota, lost in San Antonio, which is kind of crazy to me, especially when Wemby ain't playing. Wemby ain't been playing since the All-Star break.
throw goes to second, and the run scores on the infield single to tie
I'm
the
dumb.
game.
The thing said go to
Right
third
there with
or
the
go to
tying
3,
run
and
at
I
third.
threw it
He
the
knew
second.
he had to get him
And
across on the
force,
play.
and
An
just habit.
infield single
But
isn't
you lost to
always
San
the
Antonio, like I
prettiest,
said.
but
Without,
an
I
easy
don't
out,
think
and that's
Jokic
how
played
one
that game either.
great team
Maybe I'm
effort.
wrong, but I don't believe Jokic played that game. Lost to Golden State, and then you lost to the Pacers. You got what, 3 games left? Come on, get up out of there. Get up. Nope, he running too slow. Yep. All right, so you got Sacramento, Memphis, and Houston. I don't think Sacramento might be in the play-in. Let me look. Yeah, Sacramento's in the play-in. Memphis or Minnesota's in the play-in, and so is Memphis. Or Memphis is in the play-in. Houston's the 2nd seed. Okay, so like Houston has been playing. They've been playing lights out this year. So most teams have about 3 to 4 games left of the season. So, but they're already the 4th seed, and I mean, depending on what happens, because god dang, hold on, let me look at this. Between the 4th seed and the 8th seed, everybody has lost 32 games. All right, I ain't gonna hold you. I think it's crazy for them to fire their head coach 3 games before the postseason. But when you look at the 4th through the 8th seed, everybody has lost 32 games. Everybody besides Denver has 46 wins. Denver has 47 to 47 and 32. Clippers are 46 and 32. Warriors are 46 and 32. Minnesota's 46 and 32, and Memphis is 46 and 32. Denver has a real chance to come on, man. Come on, ESPN. All right, Denver has a real chance to possibly fall into the play-in. Like I said, their last 3 games are the Kings, which I think they play tonight. Let me see. Yeah. Oh no, they'll play tomorrow. They play tomorrow. Tomorrow's the 9th. The Kings, Memphis, and Houston. If they lose 2 of those next 3, maybe even 1 of those next 3, depending on how Memphis finishes out, depending on how Minnesota finishes out. Who Minnesota got left? Minnesota. Okay, Minnesota has Milwaukee, Memphis, Brooklyn, and Utah. Minnesota probably loses to Milwaukee. They'll beat Brooklyn and they beat Utah. Milwaukee and Memphis, to me, those are toss-ups. Who Memphis got left? They got Charlotte, Minnesota, Denver, and Dallas. Again, Denver and Minnesota toss-ups. They should beat Charlotte and they should beat Dallas, which they also fired their head coach a few weeks ago, like 1 or 2 weeks ago. So yeah, depending on how Memphis finishes the season, depending on how Minnesota finishes the season, you could be looking at Denver possibly, and I mean really LA and the Clippers and the Warriors, depending on how those 4 teams finish the season and how Denver finishes, Denver could really be looking at a play-in spot. Maybe that's why they fired Mike Malone. And I'm glad I pulled this up because this is really going into my next topic on NBA. The playoff race in the Western Conference is tight. I mean, besides Oklahoma, who they got their spots shored up, 64 and 14, nobody's catching them. There's not enough games. But Houston Rockets, LA, the Lakers, Denver, really, all right. It's not so. I don't think it's 47. They only got 3 games left, so that'll get them to 50 wins if they won out. So they probably actually none of these teams would really make it to challenge the Rockets for that number 2 spot. Besides maybe LA, they're 48 and 30. They've only played 78 games. They got 4 games left. If LA won out, their last 4 games, and Houston would have to lose out really. But if LA went out, and I don't know what the head-to-head is between them and the Rockets, they could possibly get that 2nd spot, that 2nd seed. Yeah, they could possibly get that 2nd seed, and I don't think Houston's in their division. So, yeah, Houston's not in their division. So, yeah, they could possibly get that 2nd seed, depending on, the tiebreakers and all of that, if they were to have the same record. But that playoff race between 2 and 3 and the playoff race between 4 and 8 is tight in the West. Like I said, you got 5 teams with the same amount of losses, and 4 teams with the same amount of wins and the same amount of losses. You look at the East. East is nowhere comparable. You got my Miami Heat, who are ass. They're terrible. You got my Miami Heat in there, and they're bad. I should have went this. I should have went the first like they told me to. You got the Miami Heat, who are bad. Everybody in the play-in is under 500. Everybody in the play-in tournament's under 500. I don't even want to watch the play-in for the Eastern Conference. I'll watch it for the Western Conference because to me, it's going to be competitive. The West is going to be very competitive in the playoffs. The East, to me, is the top 3 teams. The top 3 teams. You got Cleveland, who's going to win the. You got Cleveland, who's probably going to have the best record in the East at 62-16. Oh, okay. OKC got the best record in the NBA. So yeah, you got Cleveland that's probably going to win the East with the best record in the Eastern Conference, 62-16. They got what? Oh yeah, we going home on this one. Go home. Yup. Okay, so you got Cleveland 62-16. You got Boston 58-20. So what? They got 4 more games. Again, depending on how that all falls. Cleveland loses out. Boston wins out. Then you may have a situation where Boston takes that top seed. But as of right now, it's Cleveland. You got the Knicks, which I really don't know how they're gonna be in the playoffs. You know how old boy runs his players. He runs them boys ragged. They might be burnt out by the playoffs. It's very possible for the Knicks because just how, like I said, how he runs them around. I mean, the top 3, and then after that, what you got the Pacers, which I mean the Pacers are cool. I don't see them making a run in the playoffs. I don't see them beating a team in 4. Like I don't see them beating Cleveland or Boston in 4 games. I'm sorry. It's no disrespect to the Pacers, no disrespect to Pacers fans. I just don't see it. I really, Milwaukee without Dame, I don't see them winning a 4-game series either between Boston and Cleveland. I don't see it, and I don't see it with Detroit as well. And anybody in the play-in, I think they get knocked. I really don't think they make it far, and that's including the Heat. Unless the Heat feel like they're gonna recapture the magic that we had when we had Jimmy Butler. Like I said, I can't see it. Can't see the Heat making no noise. Can't see Chicago, Atlanta, or Orlando making no noise. And to me, man, like I just feel like the NBA needs to go back to what was it? The original 8 teams, 7 teams, or something like that. The original 8 teams. I don't want the play-in. Like it was cool to have it during the COVID season and stuff like that. Cool. I just don't feel there's a need to have it anymore. Like there's no need to be doing the play-in tournament anymore. Like they need to chalk that for sure. Because to me, it's no point, man. It's no point at all. Appreciate the new followers. The new followers on TikTok and everything. Appreciate y'all. Like I said, we just trying to grow this thing, man. Trying to keep this thing going. And I think, maybe Thursday or maybe next week, I'm going to go down the list of who I believe should be award winners this year. I think last week I told y'all Shea to me is hands down MVP, and I still believe that. I don't not wavering from that at all. I think Shea is the hands down MVP. But now we about to get into this list, man. We about to get into this receivers list, this top 10 receivers in the NFL. Look, like I said, if you listening, if you watching on TikTok, Twitch, Kick, YouTube, wherever, hey man, drop your comments. When I drop this list, drop your comments. Cause I want to know I want to know how y'all feel about the list. But we not talking about no cheap viewers. What is this? That's what I'm talking about, man. Twitch got to get this together. Y'all got to stop letting these bots come in here in people's channels. I appreciate the extra followers and all that good stuff, but we got to stop letting the bots come in here, man. We got to keep the bots out. Keep the bots out. Boy, I don't want none of your cheap viewers. We want to do this thing authentic. We want to get this joint off the muscle, off the strength, man. We ain't looking for no cheap viewers. Trying to get it off the strength for sure. But yeah, all right, hold on. I'm making sure this is downloading so I can pull this up. so I can pull this up. I really want to know how y'all feel about, like, how y'all would feel about this list. Personally, I think it's a good list. But you know, everybody might not feel that way. Oh, we're gonna get this off the screen. Hold on. Hold on now. It's not what we putting up there. Like I said, personally, I think it's a good list. I don't know how y'all gonna feel about it. I think it's a good list. Hold on, I'm looking for it. I'm looking for it so I can put it up here. So y'all can, for the world to see. There we go. All right. Okay. Hold on. I need to see how it looks on here real quick. Ooh, y'all can't even see it. We put it right here. Dang, that list is light. It is light. It is light. We're gonna all right, hold on. Give me a second. We're gonna be right back. I'm gonna have to change the color of the font because that black font ain't working. Change the color of the font so we can get this list out. Then, oh, you know what? We're gonna make it bold so that way, you know, it really steps out. It's really stepping. There we go. Should have been downloaded this and tried to see how it looked before I even got on here. My fault, y'all. My fault. You know, players mess up. Players mess up sometimes. It's okay. We're gonna get right. There we go. Now that looks better. That looks better right there. That don't look better. Dang, man. What we put in the middle? Right here. Whatever. Look, I'll read the names off. So y'all will get the gist of it. But all right, here we go. These are my top 10 receivers in the NFL. We're gonna keep it on this screen because I don't want anything messing up. We're gonna pull this over here. Actually, I'm gonna read it off to y'all so that way, like I said, so that way y'all will see, y'all will hear the names. All right. So number one, and oh, let me give y'all the criteria first. Let me tell y'all what the criteria was on how I made this list. And like I said, I asked some people, I wanted their opinions. Some people I value as far as sports minds or whatever that I value. So it, you know, I altered the list based on some of the things that they said. But the criteria was based on their career so far up to this point, based on where they are in their prime, whether they're entering their prime, they're in the middle of their prime, or they're exiting their prime, and based off of last year. So based on all of those factors, number one, Jettas. I feel like Jettas is the best receiver in the NFL. I'm sorry. Like, I personally feel Jettas is the best receiver in the NFL. I don't know how y'all feel about that. Last year, you know, he had what, about 1,500 receiving yards, something like that, something close. But Jettas was balling last year. So let me go back and look because I believe he had somewhere closer. He had 1,533 and 10 tutties. And that's what he did last year. We know what we know the year before that he was hurt. We know that what he did the year before that with the 1,800 yards and the 8 tutties was going crazy, right? We know about that. Second best receiver in the NFL to me, Jamar Chase. Now, I think, and I've always said this, and this is how I kind of look at some of these players. So, like with Justin Jefferson, I feel he's a better receiver than Jamar Chase, but I feel Jamar Chase is a better football player. There's a difference, right? And I don't know if a lot of people understand that or if a lot of people know that, but there's a difference when you're looking at stuff like that. Well, to me, and I'm pretty sure anybody that's played football, that's been around football, will understand that. Yeah, we're gonna move this over here because now you can see it better. Move it over to the side. Now you can see it better. But yeah, if you've ever played football or been around football, like, because you don't necessarily have to play football to really understand football. So unless you just been around football your whole life or ever played football, whatever, you understand what I mean by like he's a better receiver and he's a better football player. And I'm gonna explain this to y'all. So when I say he's a better receiver, what I want for a receiver, I feel like Jettas does that better than Justin Jeff or better than Jamar Chase. Route running, hands, all of that, right? Um, but when I say football player, and this is even how I looked at Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel when they were on the same team. Ayuk to me was the better football player or better receiver. Deebo was the better football player. When I say you're a better football player, no matter where you line up on the football field, you're going to thrive. You look at how they used Deebo with the 49ers, they used him everywhere. And he was good anywhere you lined him up, slot, outside, running back, whatever. He did the damn thing. You can't do that with Jettas. You can't do that with Ayuk, in my opinion. You can do that with Deebo. You can do that with Chase. You give Chase the ball. I feel the same with CeeDee Lamb. I feel like CeeDee is a better football player than he is receiver because CeeDee, you just give him the ball in space and you let him work. Jamar Chase, you give him the ball in space, hand the ball off to him, whatever, and you let him work, and he's gonna make it do what it do. Justin Jefferson, he gonna route you up. He gonna get open with his route running, and he's gonna do his damn thing. So that's how I feel. I feel like Jefferson's a better receiver than Jamar Chase, but Jamar Chase is a better football player than Jefferson. But it takes nothing away from Justin or for Jamar Chase's receiving acumen. To me, he's the second best receiver in the league. He had 1,700 yards last year and about 13 touchdowns, something like that. He balled out, and over his career, you can see you see him over their careers. And to me, both of them they're just not necessarily just entering their prime. Yeah, I guess you could say they're really kind of just entering their prime. Like they're probably like 1 or 2 years into their prime. I get it. First few years they balled out, but I believe as of right now, maybe they're going on year 3 of their prime, but they're right there at the beginning of their prime. They ain't even reached a peak yet. And that's in my opinion. Tyreek Hill, I feel like he's the third best receiver in the league, but I feel like he's at his peak and he's starting to come down a little bit from his prime. I think he's at his Tyreek's at his peak. And granted, his numbers weren't amazing last year, but he's just 1 year removed from the 1,800 yard season. He still had a pretty solid season last year. Like it's not like he was just some scrub out there last season. But I think he's like at his peak of his prime. He's at the peak of his prime. What he had last year, I think he still had 1,000 yards last year and had like 6 touchdowns or something like that. Where is he at on this? Yeah. So he had 959 yards and 6 touchdowns. But that you got to think about. Tua was hurt most of the season, concussions. And you had quarterbacks like Skylar Thompson, Huntley. Who else was throwing him the ball? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, he didn't really have no quarterback throwing him the ball last year, or no good quarterback. You can say what you want about Tua. Yes, he's done with the whole concussion thing, but it is what it is, right? Fourth best receiver, AJ Brown. I can't say enough good things about AJ. AJ's a baller. Like, AJ's a baller, and to me, as of right now, he is the 4th best receiver in the NFL. Then you got CeeDee Lamb at 5, Amon-Ra St. Brown at 6, Devontae Adams, and so all of these players, 1 through 5, to me, they are either at the beginning of their prime or right at the peak of their prime. That's where I believe the top 5 are. Now, when you get back to the and really, I guess Amon-Ra St. Brown too, like he's somewhere between the beginning and the peak of his prime. But like when you look at Mike Evans, you look at Devontae Adams, those 2 guys, they're still to me elite receivers, but they're towards the back end of their peak. Like they're towards the back end of their prime where now you're going to start seeing them go down. Now, I don't know how they're going to use him with the Rams, especially with Puka Nacua, who is on the top 10 list as well. But to me, like I said, he's towards the back end of his prime. Same with Mike Evans, towards the back end of his prime. And both of these guys only played like 14 games last year and had 1,000 yards. I think, had like 8 touchdowns. Mike Evans had 11 touchdowns. Very well, with those 3 extra games they would have played, could have had 12 to 1,300 yards. So to me, they're still very good elite receivers that's still right there in their prime. Now, as far as we go with Puka and we go with Nico, to me those two are interchangeable. And the way I like to see at least 2 years worth of work. I can't put you in the top 10 off of 1 year. And Puka and Nico have given me 2 years worth of work where they played at an elite level. Puka, I think, missed 6 games last year, had like 990 yards. So he 1,000 yards away from, or he's 10 yards away from 1,000. And what's up, Hollywood? He's 10 yards away from 1,000, and he only played 11 games. He was well on his way to like 1,500 yards again. So it's hard for me to argue Puka not being in the top 10 list. Puka has solidified himself, in my opinion, as a top 10 receiver, and he's done it 2 years straight. I get it. You can say your best ability is availability. Puka only played 11 games. I know people don't want to extrapolate numbers out or round up and stuff like that, but when you're just looking at it and look at what he's done when he's playing, Puka was their number one with the Rams. You can argue Cooper Kupp, whatever. Cooper towards the tail end, man. He ain't the same. He had that one Triple Crown year, and he ain't been the same since. And that was what, 4 years ago? So I'm not taking nothing from Puka because of Cooper Kupp. Sorry, not doing it. Nico was a solidified number one on the Texans. He's the number one guy. And when he's healthy and he's out there, that's who CJ's looking for. And he's putting up numbers. He's come a long way from his first 2 years in the league. He got him a quarterback that looks for him, that can find him, that can do the damn thing. And Nico's putting up numbers. So for me, Puka and Nico, they're fringe top 10 guys. Like they're right there on the cusp of maybe being honorable mention. And the reason I do have Nico and Puka over people like Devonta Smith and T. Higgins, which I think are amazing receivers, like we get down to the honorable mentions list. The reason I have them over Devonta and T is because Nico and Puka solidified number ones. I get it. Devonta and T, they were the number one receivers their first year in the league. Because before they got AJ Brown, it was Devonta Smith. Before they got Jamar Chase, it was T. Higgins. But since they got Jamar Chase and since they got AJ Brown, they've been moved down to that number 2 slot. And while I believe they would be good as number ones, I just think that Puka and Nico give you a little bit more at the number one spot right now. Terry McLaurin, he's an honorable mention, but that takes nothing away from his career. He's had an amazing career, and I think since his first season, he's put up 1,000-yard seasons every year since that first season. First season, I think he had like 900 yards. Every year after that, he's had over 1,000. And you would whoever throwing him the football, he's like Mike Evans in that sense where no matter who you put back there, quarterback, they're going to thrive and they're going to get that. They're going to do what they got to do. But it takes, like I said, him being honorable mention takes nothing away from him. I just think, like I said, Puka and Nico just give you a little bit more juice than Terry McLaurin do. But like I said, the honorable mentions, that's them three. Yes, DK did not make the list. I get it. His career has been solid. But to me, based on with DK, I feel like he should be doing more. And that's part of the reason why he did not make my list. You could argue, I don't think old boy from, Jalen Waddle. I don't think he's top 10. I don't think he's honorable mention right now. Drake London, he might be fringe. Like Drake London, but I believe he's only had 1 year of like real production, in my opinion, which was last year. I don't think that he had 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns.
Next up, Ed Howard.
Yeah, I mean, each year he's gotten better though, so I don't take anything away from him with that respect, because each year he's gotten better. His first year, 866 yards, 4 tutties. Second year, 905, 2 tutties. Last year, 1,271, 9 tutties. But to me, he just doesn't make the list right now. Like maybe in a couple more years, you probably move him to that list. But just right now, I'm not putting him there. Just throw it at first, whatever. Just right now, I'm not putting him right there. Let me put this list back up. And you probably can't see it because it's on the field or whatever. But Jettis, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, AJ Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devontae Adams, Mike Evans, Nico Collins, Puka Nacua, and then you got the honorable mentions in Terry, Scary Terry, Devonta Smith, the Slim Reaper, and T. Higgins. I don't know. Does T have a nickname? I don't know if T. Higgins has a nickname. But if you're watching live, or even if you come back and you watch it, let me know what y'all think about the list. Let me know what you disagree with or who you would change. I believe the bottom 5, top 5 to me is solidified. I don't think they're interchangeable. I think those are solidified. Bottom 5, I believe you can move people around. But if you feel somebody should have been on the list that didn't make the list, let me know who you would remove and who you would put up there. I mean, it's a list. It's based off opinion. It's based off, all of that. So it's no need to, like, be crazy about it. Oh, man. There's no need to be crazy about it. But just let me know who y'all feel would be better suited to make the list if you don't agree with that list. And you gotta have reason, right? Like, just you can't just be like, oh, well, this is stupid and blah blah blah. Give me a reason on why you think a certain player should be up there. Like, if you want DK on there, let me know why you think DK should be on that list. And again, this is what I took into consideration. This was the criteria. It was career, last year, and where you are in your prime. Whether that's the beginning, the end, or right there at the peak. I know, some people told me Stephon Diggs should have been on the list. I don't think so personally. But, oh my God. I shouldn't have swung that. I don't think Stephon Diggs should have been on the list. But other people might have a different opinion. And I just want to know. My dog Hollywood said she can't wait until Chris Olave get a quarterback because he's better than Nico and Puka. Look, hey, I ain't gonna argue with you on that one. I like Chris. I like Chris Olave. He does a lot of things well. So, hey, I could very well see him being a top 10 receiver if he had an actual quarterback to throw him the ball, and not throw him hospital balls and get him knocked out of games and stuff like that. Or just afraid to throw the ball because they're a rookie quarterback. So yeah, y'all get like a Shedeur Sanders or a Cam Ward. I could see Chris Olave taking off for sure. I could see him taking off for sure because he's had production. Olave has had production. Just last year he didn't have much just because he was hurt. But he had like 2 concussions last year.
So a man at third, 2 away. Lewis.
Hold on, let me see.
This chance at some insurance runs is brought to you by Mutual Consolidated Cow Insurance. They'll always steer you in the right direction.
Olave's had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons too. First 2 years he was at 1,000, and then last year he had 400 because he missed about 9 games. Yeah, and I mean for me with Diggs is like,
2 outs with a runner at third.
For me, like to going forward as far as like the top 10 receivers in the league right now, or even honorable mention. I mean, being 31, coming back from an ACL injury, is kind of like, to me it's scary to put him up there. I gotta see some more production from him. Yeah, last year he wasn't good last year at all. I'm not gonna say he wasn't good, but like he was really the third option last year. He was the third option for the Houston Texans with Nico and Tank. With them 2 there, he was the third option for real. So yeah, I wouldn't be mad if somebody put him at honorable mention. I just can't put him at the top 10. But like I said, your boy Olave, he get him a quarterback. I think he can really make some noise, and he could crack that top 10. He could crack my top 10 for sure, because I think he has the talent. Olave got the talent. He runs pretty good routes. Consistent hands. He can take the top off the defense. Like he can really do everything you want a receiver to do.
On the ground to the left.
All right, cool. Got him out. Got him up out of there.
And they leave one. We head to the bottom of the 8th.
But yeah, we're gonna finish this game and then we're gonna be up out of here. But yeah, so and that's what I was just saying about Drake London Hollywood. Like every single year since he's been in the league, he's gotten better. First year 800 yards, second year 900 yards, this year 1,200 yards. I think Drake is one of those too that I wouldn't be mad if somebody put him in honorable mention. And I could see, like, once Mike Evans retired or like Devontae Adams retiring or something, like You could maybe slide Drake London up into that top 10, like bottom top 10 fringe, you know, that fringe top 10. But I think he just has to continue, right? Like he just got to continue to show his presence. Like I said, each year he's gotten better. And I don't know, with Michael Penix, shoot, maybe he gets, dang, I said I was gonna finish that last game and be up out here. But maybe with Michael Penix, you know, he really shows what he can do. So I'm not mad at Drake being an honorable mention. I just can't put him in the top 10 right now because he's only really had the 1 year of pure production. Like I said, of at least being over 1,000 yards, but every year he's gotten better, and that's what you really want to. That's what you really want to see. And this is what I said last week: is usually, you know, usually by year 3, which last year was Drake's 3rd year. Usually by year 3 is really when you see players really start to ascend. Oh, you said, and then you asked where I see him if I had to do a top 20. Top 20, I would probably put Drake at top 20, maybe 15. Because what I did 10, 13 would be 11 Terry, 12 Smitty, 13 would be T. Actually, yeah, 13 would be T. Maybe Drake. Oh, that's a good swing, but whatever. Maybe Drake. Maybe probably like 14. Maybe 14, 15. Maybe it'll be between him and DK as far as like where I would put him 14 and 15. Man, my Yankees got smacked today. Them boys ass.
Mutual Consolidated Cow Insurance has been protecting herds
Aaron
across
Judge,
the country.
what he do?
Find out what they can do for you
He had
today.
2 bases. But yeah, probably like 14, 15. And I mean, if you could really argue that since he is the number 1 over there, then you could put him above T or Smitty. I just like them 2 better than I like Drake. As far as what they bring you on the field, I think T's a better route runner than Drake. I think Smitty for shit sure is a better route runner than Drake. Like that's not even a question. I think Smitty has better hands, but yeah, I think 14, 15 is probably where I would put Drake. It'll be between him and DK for that spot, but I think I would give Drake a slight edge over DK just because I think he's better than DK. Runs better routes, has better hands, he's more consistent than DK. And like I said, I believe DK should be giving you more than what he gives on the field. Like, ooh, smack that one. No doubt. Out of there. But yeah, I believe DK should be giving you a lot more than what he gives on the field. So I'll probably give Drake the slight edge. Dang, a top 20 list would be crazy though. Jalen Water would be in there. Jalen would probably be about 16.
He did a great job to stay within himself and change the
Who
direction
else?
of this ballgame.
Actually, I'll probably put Chris around like 16.
And a predictable result when you look at the exit velocity and launch angle.
Anybody missing off the list that you would place next year or middle of the season, top 15 to 20 range?
One down, base is empty here in the 9th.
Pickens, I think I would put Pickens in that 15 to 20 range. He just hit a home run. Oh no, he hit it over my head. Pickens maybe. Chris Olave would be in there just because, like I said, he got hurt last year. Yeah, just because he got hurt last year. That might be it. What you got?
After his recent lack of results, that's a swing every hitting coach.
You got DK, Waddle, Olave, 15, 16, 17.
This next at bat is going to be critical.
Who else? 15, 16, maybe
number 16.
Maybe throw it.
Trying to eke out at least 1 run and send this.
I don't think who else, cause I don't. JSN only gave me 1 year. I can't put JSN in the top 20, not yet. Well, maybe he can't be in the top 20.
Really impressive work at the.
Because if I put you know players in off of 2 years of production in the top 10, if you gave me 1 year of production, I could probably get you into that top 20. So maybe a JSN and at 18, 19, 20, you probably looking at Brandon Ayuk was hurt. He would definitely be top 20 for me. Brandon Ayuk healthy would definitely be top 20 for me. Shoot, he might even be top 10 depending on what he gives you. Damn, that's kind of tough. Really, I need one more, huh? Let me think. I'm trying to think who would that last person be in that top 20. Let me go back and look at some numbers real quick. Pickens is in there because I'm a big Pickens fan. Actually, I would probably sneak Lad McConkey up into that top 20 as well. If you looking at 15 through 20, what I say? I said DK. I said Waddle, Olave. That's 15, 16, 17. JSN, 18, Pickens. I might put Lad McConkey. Oh, Zay Flowers. Shit. Use my language. I'm trying not to curse, y'all. I'm trying to stop. It's a hassle. But I forget about Zay Flowers too. I would probably put Zay Flowers in there too. Cortland Sutton's another one. Yeah, that top 20, even 15 through 20 would be tough. Cause you got a lot of players that deserve to be there, in my opinion. You got Sutton, you got DK. Maybe I'll probably kick Pickens out and put Sutton in there. Yeah, I'll probably kick Pickens out and put Sutton in there. Now I would put. Am I putting Zay over? Am I putting Zay in over Lad? Possibly because Zay gave you 2 years worth of production, so I will put him in over Lad. That's tough though, because I like Lad a lot, but that's tough. I forgot about them. I forgot about them for sure. Hey, and I ain't gonna hold you. Right outside that top 20, maybe like that 21 to 24 range, you could probably put my dog Josh Downs up in that. He creeping up. If he can get some consistent quarterback play, my boy gonna get in there. You could probably even put Calvin really in the top 20. I don't like Calvin. I don't think Calvin's that good, but you could probably sneak him into that top 20. Yeah, that's tough. I really have to go back and look. I have to really look. But off the top of my head, like I said, DK. Damn, who did I put after DK? Oh, DK, Waddle, Olave. Then you got Zay Flowers. Brandon Ayuk, Cortland Sutton. I think that's a solid. I think that's a solid top 20. And Brandon Ayuk only falls out just because of injury. Chris Olave likely fall if he stays healthy next year and he has better quarterback play. He probably rises up to top 10 too. But that's about it, really. Damn, that was tough. That was rough. But yeah, man, that's my top 10 list. Like I said, if y'all have comments, y'all have questions, y'all want to switch a player in and out, whatever, pause. Just throw it in the comments, man. Whether you watching on TikTok, Kick, Twitch, whatever, throw it in the comments. YouTube, really probably just YouTube. Spotify, you can comment on Spotify. But if you disagree with that top 10 list, then like I said, let me know. Let me know. Who would you switch out? What player would you switch out, put into the top 10? What player would you take out? What player would you put into honorable mentions over whatever player I have in honorable mention? But I appreciate y'all for coming through. I appreciate y'all for tapping in and listening and rocking out with me. Play 3 games on the show. I'm gonna have to play this a little bit more in stream just because I'm trying to get to the show, man. I'm trying to get to the MLB rather than this single A, double A crap. But thank y'all for tapping in. We'll be back on Thursday. Thursday, we will have another list. It might be DBs, might be edge rushers, it might be quarterbacks. We'll see. And a lot of y'all are gonna be upset when one of y'all quarterbacks ain't in that top 10. I swear to God, I know y'all are, especially if he ain't in the top 5. But it is what it is. You know, these lists are subjective. Everybody's gonna have their opinions, and it is what it is. But until next time, like I said, we'll be back on Thursday. Probably will run at 12 o'clock on Thursday as well, just because I'm trying to, you know, tweak some things and figure some things out, like when the best time to stream is and all of that. So we gonna run Thursday, maybe at 12, maybe, you know, go back to 11. But I'm just trying to find the best times to really get the stream popping. But until next time, y'all be easy, and make sure to follow me on every social media platform: Twitter, TikTok, as well as Instagram. TikTok and Twitter is at DropBallsPod, and on Instagram is at DropBalls_pod. So be sure to follow me on all 3 of those platforms. I put some stuff up there every now and then, especially clips from the, you know, from the stream and all of that. And hit all those follow and subscribe buttons on every platform, as far as Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, and what's the last one? Kick.